Hello, I'm Jonathan Trotter. Welcome back to the Digging in the Dirt podcast. It has been a little bit, and I'm so excited to get to hang out with you a little bit more today and wrap up the mission section of my book, Digging in the Dirt. We'll be looking at two chapters today. One is called "Twas the Night Before Furlough," a little tongue-in-cheek ditty, and then the next one is called "The Day We Didn't Go Home." And I'll talk a little bit more about those as we go. But just a reminder, this will be on YouTube. So hello if you're watching this, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And again, reading from the book, Digging in the Dirt, Musings on Missions, Emotions, and Life in the Mud. That first section on missions, again, is what we're wrapping up today. And I'm very excited to then pivot and talk a little bit more about emotions. We'll talk about anger and love and grief and a bunch of other things. And so that'll be super fun. But I just really appreciate you hanging out with me here. And I hope that this is a blessing and an encouragement to you. We have been blessed along the way with folks who are able to speak into our lives. And sometimes it's nice to be able to pass a little bit of that along to anyone who cares or is listening. So as I've said before, one of the things that I hope to do with this podcast is answer questions or thoughts that respond to thoughts that people might have. There's ways that you can do that. You can find the links in the show notes to the book and to Elizabeth's book with me called Serving Well. So check those out if you're interested. Otherwise, we will just jump into "Twas the Night Before Furlough." And I will note, I think I was sleeping in our schoolroom. I had a cough or something, and that room had air conditioning. I was sleeping in that room and started thinking about this, sort of maybe it was a little bit before Christmas time or something. "Twas the night before Furlough, and just kind of let myself go with it and had drafted most of this while I was in the schoolroom by myself, just kind of chuckling to myself. So maybe you'll find it funny, maybe not, but this has been part of our experience. And it's called "Twas the Night Before Furlough." All right, here we go. "'Twas the night before Furlough, and all through the house everybody was crazy, even the mouse. With kilograms counted and carry-ons packed, the dad will get asked, "Can I fit this last sack?" With Ma on her IG and Pa on his Twitter, they'll update their close friends through one last newsletter. Frazzled and frayed, the start of a furlough, the family boards early with one last cold Milo. On-board entertainment will probably help pass the time and the sadness, and the little ones yelp. The children will sleep if they're any the wiser. Jet lag comes for all, the great equalizer. Arrival with greetings and baggage galore. Now, pick up the kid who's asleep on the floor. A welcome is waiting at somebody's house, along with green grass and a bed without louse. Selah. Awakened and rested, 2 weeks have now passed. It seems like a dream, the term that was last. No VPNs needed, no guards at the gate, and Grandma and Grandpa let parents go date. Another world, that, they'll say to each other, debriefing and telling it all to the mother. Then shopping will start, making up for lost time, enjoying the produce and actual lines. The stores are so huge, they'll gasp and they'll stammer, with carts made for tonnage, like fridges and jammers. All the things in one place? A small child's amused. A TCK, so he's often confused. The church is so clean, inviting, and nice. It's also, turns out, surprisingly white. The parks are amazing and so well maintained. The trash is discarded and canines restrained. Folks think that they're on an extended vacation, relaxing and soaking up big adulations. Please, Father, forgive them. They just do not see the pressures and burdens of this ministry. The family will travel in borrowed van, and they'll tell all their stories and hope that you can listen and care some, then get on your knees and join them in this work, their life overseas. All right, that's the end of that chapter. One little note, I used the phrase "with carts made for tonnage like fridges and jammers." I'm not sure. I think I just made up the word jammers because it sounded fun and it sounded like something that would be in a rhyme. But seriously, the carts are made for refrigerators, which is crazy. So that's a fun one. The next chapter in Digging in the Dirt is called The Day We Didn't Go Home. This wraps up the mission section. And I wrote this back in August of 2020. So we had been back in the States for a little bit. We came back at the beginning of the pandemic in March of 2020, realized we were going to have to stay in the States, and then realized we would not be taking our return flights back to Cambodia, which were scheduled for August 6th. So I'm kind of describing what we did with that day and what we have done every August 6th since. We did it again just a month ago. Okay. So the day we didn't go home, pinned August 3rd, 2020. We were supposed to go home on August 6th. We had tickets and plans. We had dreams and ideas. But when we left Cambodia back in March, we did not have an awareness of how COVID would turn the world upside down. So we're not flying home on August 6th. As a result of passport issues, visa issues, entry requirements, finances, and a whole host of reasons, we're staying. For our family, August 6th is now stay day. Does your story include a stay day? Do you have a day that marks when life quaked and plans tumbled? Perhaps for you, it wasn't a stay day as much as a leave day. Do you memorialize a stay day or a leave day? Should you? We hope to remember our 8 years in Cambodia on this August 6th and every August 6th afterwards. It will be a sort of anniversary, a blend of stories and laughter and tears. Like so many memorials, it will be a funky mix of misery and merry. On stay day, we'll remember the day we didn't go home. Sure, America is home too, or at least it was, and it will be again. I'm speaking for myself here, of course, because my children will have their own stories and they'll need to tell them. Their relationship with America and Cambodia always was and always will be unique. It's different than mine. But some things we shared, like the 8 years around a thick Khmer-style round table, well, more like 7. The first year we had a cheaper wooden rectangular table that got eaten up by termites, so big you could hear them feasting. Lightning bug-sized table chompers. We're shipping the Khmer-style table to America, so every stay day we'll gather around it and remember. We'll remember the scent of frangipanis, and we'll probably try to buy some. We'll feel the feel of traditional kramas, the checkered scarves Cambodians and my daughters use for everything. We'll probably order Indian food and remember Mount Everest, the local restaurant in Phnom Penh that taught us to absolutely adore Nepalese and Indian food. We'll look at old photos of a younger family riding tuk-tuks, playing on the street, trying to figure out cross-cultural living. We might search YouTube for Khmer dance music, and we will probably laugh about the incessant, loud, and drunk karaoke that permeated our house during wedding season. We'll watch old videos of moto rides through our neighborhood, and we'll remember the kind old man who laughed at the 4 white foreigners driving a moto through flooded streets and belly laughing. I wonder if he knew how much it reminded me of riding a jet ski. Maybe we'll check Google Street View and meander past friends' houses. On stay day, we will remember, and we will pray. We'll pray for Cambodia, for our friends there, and for the church that's blossoming into its identity. Lord willing, we'll do this every August 6th, the day we did not pack up, weigh all suitcases to 49.9 pounds, quadruple check passports, and jet across the Pacific. August 7th won't find us staggering out into the scents and smells of Phnom Penh. We won't unmothball our house and turn it back into a home. We won't schedule reunions with local friends. We won't visit our favorite haunts and coffee shops. Instead, we'll mourn what was, and we'll be grateful for that too. Mourning is a wetter way of expressing gratitude, after all. And we'll move on, whatever that means. God remains the God of the past. He will always be the God of the past, and he will always care enough to ask the same questions he asked Hagar. Where have you come from? He is the God of stay day, August 6th, but he is also the God of August 7th and 8th. And if he's true, if he's real, then he's got us. And he holds us in his strong right hand. And he will hold us on every stay day and every day after that, too. August 6th this past year, we've been back in the States for a little bit now, and we ordered, what did we order? I think we ordered Indian food, and we downloaded some Khmer wedding music. We went on iTunes and found some. We listened to it. My daughters tried to dance, do the Khmer style dance. They pulled out the grandmas, and we talked about Cambodia. We did some of that Google Street View, and we just remembered. Now, here, several years into it, we are able to look back and say, whoa, that was so hard and that was so amazing. We're so grateful for those years. And I also just want to say this for folks who are maybe in the middle of a transition. At this point now, several years later, we're also able to look at our community here in our new town and say, oh, look, we have friends again. It's not a replacement. It's not like this is algebra or anything, but we have made it. We didn't die in the middle of transition. We're here and we have community again. It's not exactly the same. In some ways, it's less. In some ways, it's more. But that's not the point. It's not about comparing. God has been faithful through the transition and into a spot where we're all feeling a little bit more settled. So there you go. Night before furlough and stay day, or the day we didn't go home. Like I said, in the upcoming episodes, we'll be diving into emotions and talking about those. So again, drop your questions in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. There's a link to a Google Sheet where you can leave questions or interact if you'd like to. I would love to engage with you around any of these topics. Or if you have a topic you'd like to talk about that you're not sure if we'll get to. So again, links where you can purchase Digging in the Dirt if you want, or Serving Well. So check those out if you're interested. And again, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. All right, go with God.